Hey there, it is Jen Ferguson here with Artistic Painting Studio, and welcome to my page, guys. I'm excited to be here. We are on Thursday. Tonight is my Friday because I am flying out of here tomorrow for spring training. So this is my last day of, well, I shouldn't say last day of working this week. Y'all know I'm taking paperwork with me, and I'll be working from the hotel room, and I'll be with Tyler. So him and I will be working on a couple of the evenings together as well. So there'll be a little bit of work, but I won't be in the office. So I'm just double checking that we are in all the right spots here and make sure that I get everybody tagged. And let's make sure we're up and going. I think we are, and we need to get our computer on silent. Okay, so Alice is in the house with us. Thanks for joining. Okay, I think I got all my tasks and things to do that are done now. So now it's time to play and have fun. So hello, Uganda. It's great to see you here. Hello, Joanne. Okay, so it has been a Tumbler week. I indicated it would be, and I think our Tumbler week is going to roll into next week as well. Because we got process going. And again, next week's going to be a short week for me, you guys. I feel like between travel, which has all been fun, okay, my trip to Mexico with my girlfriends. Now Dan and I are going to spring training for the weekend. We're doing a 4-day weekend there and trying to catch some games. We're going to catch a comedy show. We're staying at Talking Sticks, so there'll be a little bit of gambling, okay? I was hoping for some better weather and some pool time, but I don't think that's going to happen at all. But we're at least going to go have some fun and hang out with my son. So I get back on Monday night. I'll be in Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning. And guess what I get to do next week? Okay. Next Friday, I get a colonoscopy again. So I will be out of here from Thursday at noon. Okay. Because the day before is worse than the day of. There's nothing, I think that compares to prep day for a colonoscopy. Okay. So I know TMI, way too much information, but I was thinking I was going to get a lot more done next week, but it's getting cut short again. So we'll see. But I am trying their newest prep medicine, you guys. It's not liquid, they're pills. Because normally the prep literally kills me off because I do have ulcerative colitis. So that prep day just sends me into the worst place you can possibly be. So we got our fingers crossed that the pills are not as bad as the stuff you have to drink. So y'all pray for me next week, okay? Okay, so way more information than you needed because it got super personal there. But if you don't see me on Thursday and Friday, that is going to be why, okay? Oh, T, I'm so sorry. Well, yeah, well, I'll let you guys know. I'll let you know after, okay, the following week, I will be better and we'll see how those pills are compared to the stuff you had to drink. Now, my girlfriend, I took her Wednesday morning for hers. Okay. So, I'm in an age group that we're all doing this. So I took her for hers. And then on Tuesday, she had to drink all that stuff. She said she was just gagging it down. So I'm hoping that the pills are a little bit easier to deal with. Sounds like a few of you have already tried this. It's such a new medicine out there. My insurance wouldn't even cover it. They gave us a discount card for the pharmacy, and I had to pay a way higher amount for those. But hopefully it's going to be better than the drink. Okay, so it's time. It's time to do some fun stuff here. This is the tumbler that I had glittered with our twig glitter, okay? And twig and ash are really super close, and we are sold out for now, okay? We'll see if we're going to bring it back in, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous glitter. And I believe I'm going to add this foil to it, okay? I think this is what I've decided to do. Not less I can go in and I'll go through my bucket and see if I find anything else. But I thought that was a pretty kind of fun match. I'm going to do the same kind of technique and look that I've got going on this tumbler. So we'll see if I find anything else. But I think that's going to be a pretty cool match, okay? So first of all, we're going to put our foil adhesive down. And you guys, I'll catch up and read through the comments here in a few minutes, okay? Because it sounds like there's a few of you in this group that also have UC, which is just not the most fun autoimmune disease to have, but at least mine is currently in remission due to a drug that I'm on. And I'm actually hoping to control my disease better with my diet and my exercise and see if I can talk my doctor into going down a more hemio path with me and see if I can actually get off this drug at some point. Got my fingers crossed. We'll see if he'll humor me, okay? Doctors are not, sorry, I was looking for my spray bottle. Doctors are really not super supportive to go off of Western medicine and try alternative methods. So we're going to see. Oh my gosh, T, that is so awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm in remission while I'm on a drug. I'm trying to go into remission off of a drug, so we'll see. Okay, I'm going to put my camera down. I'll catch up on comments here, you guys, in a few minutes. I'm going to add a little bit of water. So this is a mist spray bottle. I'm going to add a little bit of water to mix in because I always feel that a little bit of water, maybe 1-2%, is just going to always help with the brushing process, that you're going to have less brush strokes, and also it's just going to brush on smoother for you. Okay, so once I mixed it in, I'm just trying to get rid of a lot of the excess adhesive, okay, so I don't just coat this real heavy, because I want to come to the edge, okay, and make it choppy looking, okay? So I'm using my brush at an angle and going to leave this a very rough edge, okay? I don't want this to be perfect. I don't want it to be straight. We're just going to go for choppy, okay? And I'm going to do this edge and the top edge first, and then I will brush in the middle section, okay? So just trying to get where it just looks like the foil just broke away or has just a rough, jagged edge. And we're going to do the same on the top here. I'm thinking maybe a smaller brush might be a little bit better, but we're just going to make this one work for now. And that way our glitter is going to show top and bottom. I've got a couple more tumblers that we did with the glitter. We did the one that was close to my shimmering sand, and then also the white glitter. And both of those are gorgeous, and I'm probably going to use some of our transparent foils on those so that we will completely be able to see our glitter base, okay? So I'm just trying to brush through the center, smooth out my strokes a little bit here, and make sure that we have some good coverage of adhesive. Doesn't have to be on thick, but we want to make sure everywhere that we're wanting to foil, we have some decent coverage of adhesive. Now, we're going to let this baby sit, okay? The other thing I do want to point out is if you're going to use glitter as your base, you have to epoxy over the glitter before you can go forward. There's no way that you can foil directly over the glitter. Your foil adhesive would just soak into all that glitter and not give you a high enough tack to transfer. Plus, I think you would still have glitter all over the place. So if you're going to do a cup like this, or even if you could do this technique on a different surface, it does not have to be on a tumbler. If you're going to glitter your base, you want to epoxy or clear it super well, okay, until you have a smooth surface to work on. Okay, I'm going to put this up to dry, and we will see if that can dry fast enough for us to even go forward tonight. Normally, I always like to let my adhesive dry for hours, okay, but we'll see if I'm going to push it or not. This is the one that we were working on last night that I showed you my... I call it my granite look, okay, where we were doing the spray paint and the alcohol. Okay, let's see if I can get my brain to work here, okay, find my words. And I told you it was going to move. I told you I had thought I'd put way too much alcohol on as well, where I love some of the ways that it stopped and finished, okay, but again, I had so much alcohol that I ended up with some big open spots instead of the little reaction, okay? So I'm going to epoxy over it again. I've never done 2 layers. So I figured, you know what, we're just going to go ahead. We're going to epoxy this again. We're going to go through the whole same technique, and I'm going to be very, very sparing with my alcohol this time, because as it spins, it continues to move, and that movement's going to open up those cells and make them bigger. So I'm going to try to accomplish some smaller cells on this, okay? So that is what my plan is for that one. And we'll go ahead. This is the one that has our shimmering sand glitter on it. Isn't that beautiful? We're going to go ahead and throw... Yagata says she wants it. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see if I can figure out another one to do. You guys think it's beautiful as is. I'm ready to put another coat on it. You guys are so cute. Okay, so I was going to epoxy this one so that this would be ready next week as well. And if you guys don't want me to go forward, I'll have to see if there's anything here that I can do. So, I mean, it's pretty. It's definitely pretty. I was just looking for tinier, small cells, okay? So we'll see if I have something else that I could possibly do the technique on. I'm looking. Okay, I have something that's prepped, and maybe I can just do it on that. Sandy, it is practice, but I'll tell you, if you stay in that high mist, okay, so it's very sheer on the black paint. And then you want to be careful with how much alcohol you're spritzing in, okay? And it really is so much easier if you can get your spray bottle nozzle to give you just that little tiny spritz. You guys are so cute. Okay, I'm going to leave this alone. There seems like there's enough of you that want it. I found something here that I can do the technique on as well. Let me switch out a couple of things here. So then I will go ahead and I'll epoxy both of our glitter ones at the end of this today. And that way I will at least have those ready for next week, okay? You guys are so stinking cute, okay? I figured it turned out okay, but it was like, yeah, I still could make it look better. But I have just a piece of wood molding, so I'll do the same technique on this. And that way, again, I can just, show you guys the technique. Gigi says, I was first. Okay, you guys, don't fight over it. I do have one more tumbler. Okay, it's a tall one. Let me grab it. This one I did a long time ago. Get out of here what I got in there. Okay, so this one here is showing you the smaller cells, okay? See how it kind of looks more lacy? And this one was done with my original technique. So it is over the tie-dye foils. There is the purple, the orange, the green, and the blue tie-dye. And you see how it's just lacier, okay? This is less alcohol and very fine mist of it, okay? So just a very fine spritz. And that's how I like them to look when they're done. So if there are more than one of you that are interested, this one too is available. I think it actually might have 2 coats of epoxy on here. Maybe not. Okay. I'm not sure. There's at least 1 coat. Oh, I got foils in here too. Ooh, let me look at that color. No, I don't like that one as much. Okay. Okay, so we'll go forward. You need to, Bloopy, I don't have enough stuff to do an auction right now, okay? That last auction I had gathered a lot of stuff. So maybe in a month, okay, we possibly could do another one. Okay, so here was my other experiment, was my glass plate, okay? This has the Andressa foil on it. And I had done the crackle finish, but I'll have to say that when I put the epoxy over it, the epoxy kind of backfilled the crackle and you don't see the crackle anymore. But what I was really wanting to experiment and play with was the fact that I used just my leftover epoxy and I used my gloved hand and just wiped it on, okay? So it was a very, very thin coat and I left it laying flat onto the plastic and I was trying to see if I was going to have anything run under. Okay, so we did have a little bit that ran under it, and I'm sure, being that this is glass, I can sand that off, but there's just a tiny bit that ran under just on that rim, and it's not everywhere. I can feel it, okay, where it actually ran, but it came out good, you guys. So if you got any leftover epoxy, this was very, very little, okay? I wanted to put on just enough of it that I was basically just covering the project and that it wasn't going to be like running, okay? Because epoxy goes where epoxy goes, okay? It moves where it goes. So if there's any unleveling or anything else, it's just going to continue to run in different directions. There are some spots where I didn't have as much, okay? So it could probably do another thin coat, and I might try that again tonight if I have any. Use a hot X-Acto knife. Ooh, I like that, Kathleen. Thank you for that little tip. But I might go ahead and put a second coat because I'm still a little rough in some areas, but you guys, this is going to be a great plate. There is nothing contaminating on the glass side. So we can definitely use this as a serving dish. You could put some gift and different things on it, wrap it in cellophane, and have a gorgeous hostess gift to anybody that is, you know, when you're going over to their house. I always love to have things for friends when we're invited to their home because they're opening their home and normally serving everything. So that came out really pretty, you guys. Look how fun that is. It looks really cool with a little bit of color. Okay, well, let me hold it up high. There, you can really see it with the light coming through. How pretty is that? Jennifer, thank you so much for the stars. You're super sweet. Okay. So let's get out the foil first, okay? I'm going to get my other bucket. Oh my gosh. I need time to sort and clean and get through this bucket. I'm going to have to turn my fan off of me a little bit here because otherwise the foils are going to fly. Okay, so I'm going to try and find some fun colors to do this one with, or I could just cover it in Ooh, this might just be really pretty. I think this one's Vanna. It was in our foil club, I think February maybe. It was just recently, but that gives you that tie-dye look to begin with. So if I don't find anything else, I might just use that foil. I love how pretty that one is. Gosh, I got a ton of foil on there. What is that color? Okay. Who knows? I bring foils over here for so many different things. If I could do it just even over gold, might be doing a more sophisticated look, okay? Nope. Nope. I thought I had tie-dye and I don't. Okay. Okay, we did have somebody that picked up one of our mystery bundles, okay? This is what goes into the mystery bundle. So if you don't care which foils you might end up with, this is a great way to buy my leftover foils and scraps and end cuts and miscuts and pieces that might have a slight flaw to them. Okay, I think I got enough. But that's what all my scraps go into, okay? So we don't throw away our scraps. We don't suggest that you throw away your scraps because you can use every tiny little piece of foil that is left over, okay? Okay, let me get my fan back on me because for whatever reason, the sun was shining. It was super windy today, but this room got hot because of all the glass over here. Okay, so I have this one here, but again, it has darker colors. This one is really pretty, and I think that would be cool underneath that technique as well. And we have a little holographic. Or we might just go for, ooh, this is a big piece. Okay, I'm going to cut that off. Or go for Vanna. I think I like the colors on Vanna the best. It's going to give me some nice light colors to pop underneath the black paint. And that's what I really want to see. Number 2, Gigi's going for this one. Okay, so I'll let you guys vote. Either Vanna or we're going to call it number 2 because I can't remember the name of it. There's just too many foils in the collection to remember all the names. Okay, so this is number 2. Okay, it's sparkly. And this one here is Vanna. So, I think number 2 has won. You guys... You were opinionated, okay? That's good though. I'm going to do what you guys want. Let's see. I'm going to put down my camera. OT, that machine you're working on is going to be so great, and it's so cool that you have a practice machine to work on. That is so cool. Okay, so I think somebody was asking, maybe Gwen, about prep, okay, or how we get our surface ready for our foil application. This is just a piece of molding, okay, Home Depot molding. I painted it with our black Bondago. I always do recommend that you are putting down a primer paint or a good acrylic paint so that your foil adhesive won't soak into your surface. When in doubt, black is one of the best colors to use underneath. It's going to be more complementary than white. If you're looking for the most flawless application, then you can pick a color in the foil and match that as close as possible. So if there are any imperfections, at least that color is going to be super close to the foil and you won't notice them. And then I put on my foil adhesive, and the foil adhesive has actually been dry on here for weeks and weeks and weeks. There's dust, there's glitter, there's all kinds of stuff stuck to it, okay? But we're just gonna go for it. Oh, and just another quick little thing. So it's dirty. I think you guys can see the glitter stuck to it. We had a customer call the other day, and she had a project prepped like this. It had the foil adhesive on it. She was letting it set overnight, and her daughter set something on the project. Well, it left fuzz and all kinds of stuff, and so she was super concerned. So I want to share with you guys what I told her to do. If you can put it in the sink, go wash it in the sink with just water and a lint-free rag, and just wash off the surface, okay? The foil adhesive's not going to come off, but you should be able to get all the fuzz and dirt off of it, and then just let it dry. 9 times out of 10, it's going to dry back just as sticky and be perfect and ready to go. She couldn't get it into her sink, so I told her to use a wet rag that was lint-free, and it should be fine. And when it was dry, if it wasn't sticky enough, see how sticky this still is? Okay, that's just stuck to my finger. That's how tacky it is. When it dries to a firm tack, it's never going to dry beyond. But I told her if it did not dry back tacky enough, she could put a thinned down layer of foil adhesive back over the top. So we're going to go ahead and just foil this. I'm just going to lay this over the top. And hey, Wendy, just FYI, I'm going to keep tracking your package. UPS was literally down today. We couldn't track anything. It just said it was not available. So I'll keep an eye out and see what we can find out for you. The other thing is too, guys, UPS came out with a different service called Ground Advantage. And they are beating out all other carriers, which means their volume has increased. And I don't think they've increased the number of carriers that they have delivering your mail. So I feel like they're overwhelmed right now with the success of reducing their rate. So we've had some issues with them lately. But we find even if things are coming in late, they're eventually getting there. They're just taking longer or taking detours, or I don't know. But we've been trying to move as much back over to UPS as we can, because we just think that they're so overwhelmed. They just can't handle the volume. Okay, so any place that the foil doesn't stick the first time, just lay that foil right back down. It should fall into place wherever those little areas and bits and pieces that didn't stick. And rub again. And then I'm going to go from this side, okay? I'm going to pull off of that molding area here where we got the curve. This foil is gorgeous. Has anybody figured out the name of it yet? Oh, Tanya, yeah, I do feel there are some packages that are definitely making their way. Maybe not completely around the world, but they are definitely going and visiting other cities that they don't need to. But we have not had any packages lost yet. They are eventually showing up. And it's just frustrating because it's way beyond the time frame that it should have taken. Okay, that is simply fabulous, you guys. Okay, what's the name of this? I want to say it's Layla, but it's not Layla. But it's similar because I think there's even like a flower in the pattern. But the colors are different than Layla. And there's like a glitter sparkly background to this one. But it is stunning, okay? Thank you, Uganda. I appreciate your help. Okay, so we're going to have to do some mixing, okay? And because I'm going to have to spray, I'm going to have to get rid of this one tumbler. Okay, I got a tumbler, a white one, really, really close. So we are going to move that to a holder. I want you guys to see something that I discovered that is really cool. So these stands that we have, on the link is on our Amazon store. I think it's under just DIY products, but I asked Ashley to also put the link under the epoxy part of the Amazon store. But these are wonderful just to have stands while you're working on your tumblers. And the arms from Dino's go right over the top. So if you need to have another place and you've already got the other arm on it from Dino's, okay, it works on top of that, which is really super cool, okay? Because it makes me be able to have more holders instead of having to take out, oh, it's Calypso. Okay, perfect, guys. Thank you, thank you. Okay, I keep rolling up my sleeves. It's really warm right now. Yes, Lori, thank you, thank you. Tammy ordered her stands. Awesome. Oh, is it? Okay, so is it Calypso or is it Daphne's? Okay, you guys, we'll have to double check. Okay, so it's one or the other. Sometimes there are some foils that kind of look similar to each other. Okay, I have got to glove up here because it's time for the epoxy. And we're going to look for a clean stick that's bigger than the one I used last night. That was driving me nuts. I have a lot of stir sticks, you guys. I just don't have clean ones. Oh my, oh my. Okay. We're just going to use one of these old ones. That's what I need to do is get some clean stir sticks over here. I know I have a bunch of them over at the other studio. Okay, let me catch up on comments. Oh my gosh, 80 degrees in Georgia, Tanya? Wow. I was hoping for some super warm weather when we're going to Arizona, but it's actually cooled off. Okay, so it is Daphne's. Okay. Perfect. Thank you guys. I appreciate your help. There are foils that definitely look similar by all means. It could be color, it could be close to the pattern, but okay. I feel like I wasn't super ready for this tonight. Okay, sorry. I keep having to get up and find things. Okay, I'm going to mix a little bit more tonight because I'm going to still try and cover 2 tumblers and doing this, okay? And I don't want to run short. So if I go 70, oh, I wish they had more lines on here. Okay, that's just not fair. Okay, I'm going to try to shoot for 35 and then 70 on my CCs, and that should give me enough because I'm not going to need a ton on there. Oh, if I go 80, I got 40. Oh, that's almost 3 ounces though. Oh well, I'll put some, we'll figure it out. Okay, I'll make it work. Okay, we want B first, and I'm going to go 40, 80. Okay, so 40 cc's. Ooh. I think I hit that mark really, really quick, okay? Well, either way, if you threw me for a loop on that cup or not, Tanya, I was still planning on doing another layer of epoxy over the top. I'm just doing it on something else now, okay? Okay, so I've put in my A, I'm putting in my B. And again, ooh, that's falling out way quicker tonight. You want to try to be as precise as possible on your measuring. So I'm going to get off my ass here and double check my lines. If you weren't here last night, I was talking about how and why your B, part B, ambers so much, okay? And that is because that particular part of your epoxy mixture, resin mixture, whatever you want to call it, okay? Epoxies and resins are pretty much the same. And I think it's that an epoxy can be a resin, but a resin can't be an epoxy. And I'm not really sure of the actual chemical difference, but I feel like people that are doing smaller projects and doing tumblers are normally always talking about working with resin, and resin also can be a deep pour. I mean, they actually have product that's made for deep pour. Epoxy, if you're going to do like a river table, I think you just do multiple pours. You can't pour it that deep to begin with. But don't quote me on all this. My epoxy knowledge is limited. I do not by any means indicate I'm an expert. I am just a creative that does a little bit of everything. And sometimes that's dangerous with knowledge I do have. So if you're questioning something I said, definitely Google it, okay? Jennifer, I figured somebody would find the name, okay? So, as I was saying, part B, the minute air touches the contents of that bottle, it will start to yellow. It will amber. Constant, I mean, it just does. There's nothing you can do to prevent it. But if you were concerned about the color of your epoxy before you use it, you can throw a little bit of violet in there. Because the opposite color on the color wheel will tone whatever color you're trying to get rid of. And I believe violet is opposite of yellow. So double check. Again, I do not have my color wheel in front of me. The other thing you want to do is try to measure equal parts, as equal as you can, and then stir like crazy for 2 to 3 minutes, which I'm getting a workout, okay? Whew. Oh, some blue dye? Okay. Use a couple of drops of alcohol ink, purple to counter it. Yep, that's what I was thinking, Stacy. So alcohol ink. I love that. Yes, you got to watch what you're putting in your epoxy too. You can't just throw any kind of colorant in here. So yes, alcohol ink would definitely work. But basically, it's like hairdressers, you guys. When they're trying to tone and color our hair, it's the same philosophy. Okay, let's see if I have everything I need. Okay, I have that, I have that. The one thing I wanted to play with was my nozzle on my spray bottle. I'm not getting... I can't get it to... Oh, there. Okay, I think I have it. Okay, so play with your spray bottle long enough until you get the spray that you're looking for, okay? As I sprayed all over my table here, trying to make sure I had the spray, more of the spray pattern I was looking for. Okay, I am just going to go ahead and put some on here and cover this project. I want to make sure that I have enough for my tumblers. And I'm just using my hand to move the epoxy around. Get a little bit more. I know there are actual spreaders, but I find anytime I'm working over my foils, which is 90% of my epoxy finishes, that I want to use my hand to spread. I don't want to use any spreader, okay? Oh, all epoxies are going to definitely change with time. There's nothing we can really do. They all amber a little bit. And I know that's why a lot of people are always concerned on doing white. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to get a good shaking in here. It does sound like there are a lot of great tips and tricks that are being offered here in the comments. I appreciate you guys all for offering that. Lori's asking a good question. Do you have to seal it before using epoxy? I always say you should, because just for the fact that if there is any of the adhesive showing, it's normally going to repel. Okay, the epoxy may repel. So it's just up to you if you feel comfortable going directly over, or if you want to go ahead and seal it first, okay? Okay, this is Rust-Oleum 2X Black and Gloss. And again, I'm holding it high, okay? I'm not down low. I want a super, what I call high mist of color. Okay, you should still be able to see through it. It should not be solid by any means. If it is, you have put on way too much black, okay? I'm already getting a little weird thing over here. Don't know what I did. Okay, we're gonna put a little bit more black on that corner. Good enough. Okay, so you have wet epoxy, you have wet spray paint, you have 91% isopropyl alcohol in a spray bottle, and you have already tested the nozzle and created the pattern you want, okay? I'm going to be up high. I'm 12 to 15 inches away, and you can see those little droplets I'm getting, okay? That's what you want to get. You're going to get your smaller cells this way. That was a good one. Look at that celled, okay? Now, again, you want to watch how much you're adding, because the more alcohol you have, the more that this is going to run and react, and you're never going to control it perfectly, okay? You're going to get what you get. So you have to just kind of be prepared for whatever happens. Okay, I'm going to try to do one more high fine spritz there. Okay, I got a little bit of it. And again, if you're not getting what you want, you could always add it to your hand and sprinkle it in, okay? Now, I'm done. If I keep going, I know I'm going to lose my my fine lacy application, because over here I got bigger droplets. Over there I got the finer ones. Your epoxy moves, okay? It's still going to move. It's going to level out. And you have to just let it do its thing. You're never going to make any two of these identical. And as I had showed you earlier, this one had come out super lacy, okay? So another little trick, you guys, is once you put your epoxy on, let it sit there for a minute or two. Don't be in a hurry. The longer the epoxy sits, the more it's going to start to set up. So when you hit it with the black paint and you hit it with the alcohol, it's not going to move as much. So that's another little trick, okay? And if you want to really do this and play and experiment with it, you're probably going to screw up a few things or do multiple layers until you kind of perfect the technique. But it's super fun. I don't care how it comes out. It always looks gorgeous. And look at all those beautiful colors underneath. Any multicolored foil that has bright colors is going to look gorgeous underneath. This one's going to have a whole different level of interest because of that glitter, sparkly, holographic to the foil, okay? But that is going to be super fun. Okay, I'm going to try and move things over so that I can get in our tumblers, because I got to keep moving on this. We do not want to allow our epoxy to sit in the pot for too long, because the longer it sits, the more it starts to set up, and the pot gets hot, which is not good, okay? We want it to be workable still. So I'm going to give it a quick stir. I'm going to turn on the turner, Okay, we're going to run out of Daphnes now, I think. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I think sometimes until you see some of the foils in action, it's so hard to appreciate the beauty of all of them. And that's why I try. I really do try. I know I get stuck on certain foils, okay, but I try as much as I can to show so many of them here on our lives so that you get to see what they look like. But that is absolutely gorgeous. And it is definitely Daphnes. Okay, let me wait till this comes around again. There we go. So I'm just going to smooth on one full layer of epoxy on 2 of the tumblers and get these spinning. That way they're going to be ready for next week. And my pot's not hot yet, you guys, okay? So we're doing really good on getting through this. But if you let it sit, especially the bigger the mixture you have, so if you're mixing up like a cup or a pint, okay, it will get hot faster. So make sure you don't try to mix up too much at once. You don't want to have any issues with it getting hot on you before you're ready to use it. Or so there, and I learned, well, I didn't learn this the hard way. I knew better, but you know, it's not like I work with epoxy every day. So I was thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to do my tabletop and then I'll come over here and do a couple of cups. So I might as well mix it all together at one time and have plenty to work with. Well, that was stupid, okay, because it took me a while to do the tabletop. That was the coffee table that I've been working on over the last couple of months. And by the time I got to the tumblers, oh my gosh, my epoxy was not at the state of how workable it is right now. Okay. It was starting to set up and get weird. Okay. I think we're okay with that one. I'm going to grab a paper towel and hit it quickly with, my heat gun or my blowtorch. Okay, I'm just trying to bring the bubbles up and clear out the epoxy so it doesn't look hazy. Okay, but the more you heat it up, the more liquid it becomes and it runs. Okay, so you got to be careful with that. Okay, let's get our white one out. Okay, let's get this on here. There it is. Okay. So the arms do lock in place. And I was just making sure it was locked on there. Oh, Rhonda, that would be gorgeous. She was talking about the Melody Marble would be beautiful underneath my granite technique. Okay, let's get this one slimed. Okay, all of a sudden I decided I'm going to work left-handed instead of right-handed. But I think with the way my position is here, that might be easier. It was almost hard working right-handed with the way I have the turner set. I need to turn it around so I can do this right-handed easier. It's okay. Sometimes it's good to work your other hand. See how coordinated you can be or uncoordinated. Oh, I mixed up plenty this time. There we go. We're going to have plenty to work with on these. So So I appreciate all the tips and tricks you guys have been sharing. I will definitely go back and look at all of the comments here in a few minutes. But once I get epoxy on my hands, you guys, I am not touching my phone. I am not touching my laptop. They're too expensive to epoxy. But we should be just about done. Okay, I got a little bit extra, and I'm trying to figure out if I have room to put that down. Okay, I might not have a place for that, so we might just be done with that, okay? And I'm going to unglove. Oops, I shouldn't have ungloved yet. Okay. I'm going to only unglove one hand. Let me get my blowtorch back out, and we're going to clear this one out. So when you're doing the blowtorch, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you should see the bubbles popping, okay, or clearing out where if it looks hazy, okay, and that's just the bubbles. Okay, I think we're probably good enough on those. Now I'm going to see if I can move things enough where we can foil the one tumbler that I started with, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make enough space here. Let's see. Trying to move everything over as far as I can. Shouldn't have ungloved yet. Might have to re-glove up just to move something. The last thing I want to do is be covered in epoxy, okay? It is not my favorite thing to get stuck on my hands. Okay, let's just move that. Oh, you guys, that came out so pretty. The colors in there are just stunning. How many of you are running over to buy the Daphnes, okay? It's so pretty. You will not regret. Okay, let's see how much of this I can get out of my way. Okay, I might be able to find a little spot over here. We're just going to keep moving things around. I have a really big table. I just have a lot of stuff going on. So Jennifer's responding, says that yes, it may make a difference, a different size cell. I just know the difference from molds using the different 91 and 99. Okay, the percent of the alcohol. I was working with 91. I want to say I have never used 99. I don't have it here. All I have is 91%. And I have been able to get the different size cells. Okay. Definitely, using, I mean, you're going to have to play with the technique by all means. And just kind of play with it, because there are, I mean, we've done it so many times, but every time I do it, it does come out slightly different. Thank you, Jennifer, for answering questions. I appreciate your help. And again, I said, I am not the absolute expert when it comes to epoxy. My girlfriend, Rhonda Draculis from RK3, is definitely my epoxy guru. And if you have questions, you can definitely head over to her website. She's RK3 Designs, and I know she'll be able to help you out. Luz, I don't know if it's Luz. Not sure how to pronounce that first name, okay? I'm always normally in a vertical because Facebook prefers vertical over horizontal, so I apologize for my narrow screen. Okay, you guys, I put on the foil adhesive at first. I was wanting to let this dry as long as I could before I got to it. Just to give you background on the process here, I sanded and cleaned and put my foil adhesive on here. This one was a sublimation tumbler, and I did not prime it first. I went directly over the sublimation after sanding and cleaning. I put my foil adhesive on here. When my foil adhesive was wet, I glittered it and then sprayed it with our Rust-Oleum Clear Gloss Spray, epoxied, and now I put the foil adhesive on today. And remember, I did the foil adhesive short, okay? So I did not pull it to the ends on both ends. So we are going to just foil wherever it is, okay? So we're going to rub. The foil's only going to grab where the adhesive is. And remember, I didn't put adhesive from top to bottom. I was looking for a rough, unfinished edge for both top and bottom. And that way my glitter is going to show. The other two that are spinning right now with the glitter base, both of those are going to have transparent foils over them, so that the glitter will definitely be showing. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, this is transferring so beautiful. Okay, let me just come back and fill in any negative space. Oh, I did. Okay. Thank you, Luz. I'm just going to have to remember, it's a very unique name. You don't see that very often. And I always feel like I'm going to hack somebody's name from one end to the other, and I don't do it on purpose. We were talking about names the other day and how there's so many of us that just don't remember names. We can remember your phone number, but I can't remember your name. Ooh. That's a tough one. So I've tried to just own it, that's just me, okay? I'm not a name person, I'm a number person. So I've gotten better and not so embarrassed about it. But then on lives, I always feel like, oh my gosh, make sure I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Oh my, oh my, oh my, you guys, this is going to be beautiful. So many fun options, okay? It just goes on and on. Now, again, I want to remind you, I've already released the foil from this side. The carrier sheet is only right there where my seam is going to be. I don't want to rub over this one because if I rub over where it's been released, I can scratch it easily. So I'm going to be careful. I want to get out my toothbrush and I want to try to stay just on the carrier side and not scratch, okay? Another thing you can do that I showed last night is just put the carrier sheet back on, okay? Kind of just match it up. You could put a clear piece of cellophane, anything, right where that seam is, and that way you can rub back and forth and not have to worry about it. But if you scrub directly over it, you will scratch the foil. The foils are delicate until we get them cleared. So somebody was asking earlier about clear coating before you epoxy. It's a personal preference. When I first started doing the epoxy and doing all the transferring, all the cups, I never had any issues. Okay, look how pretty that is, you guys. It's sparkly on top and bottom. Oh, that is so cool. And it's kind of subtle, okay? It's not like major contrast like this one, okay? It's just kind of a subtle version of that look. I never had any issues, okay? I never had any issues whatsoever. And I was never having any repelling issues. I was never having anything weird happen. And then all of a sudden I started getting some issues where I was getting it repelling on the top and the bottom. Okay, and I know I said that wrong, okay, but the top and the bottom. And my epoxy was repelling on those areas. And I believed it was because I still had some of the foil adhesive that was exposed top and bottom. Because sometimes you just miss a few spots. And if the epoxy is there, it can react, or I'm sorry, if the foil adhesive is exposed, it can react to the epoxy, and that was causing the repelling. So you can try definitely putting your epoxy directly over the foils like I did tonight, or you can clear coat first. Okay, clear coating first is just a piece of insurance. Okay, a layer of insurance is going to make sure you don't have any issues. Or you can just go for it. If you have any repelling, you know you're going to be putting 2 to 3 layers of epoxy on anyway, so you can always catch it in the next layer. Okay, guys, I think that turned out freaking amazing. How fun is that one going to be? Okay, so again, I can put another layer of epoxy over the top of this. I could clear coat it if I wanted to, and then put a name on here, or just even a fun sticker or transfer. And I think we're going to try to do some of those next week. And then we'll epoxy over the top of that. So normally a tumbler is going to take normally 3 layers for full good coverage, and the layer in between all techniques. So it just depends on what all you're going to be doing. But that one's done for now, guys. Okay, we got some beautiful stuff over here. I'm just going to show you where I can't lift it up, so I'm going to be moving my camera around again. Sorry, guys. Okay, our tumblers are going to turn. I'm going to have to tell the girls to come over here and turn those off tomorrow. You can see this is already changed again. It will continue to change. It moves. So like I said, one of the techniques or tricks to trying to keep your pattern as close to what you got in the first place is to let the epoxy sit there for a few minutes and start to actually set up, because that way it's not going to move as much before you hit it with spray paint and the alcohol. So don't be in a super big hurry, okay? Let it sit for a minute or two, and it will help with, yeah, I don't think it's going to drip at this point, but I'll have to glove back up, okay? Maybe we'll just use some of our, maybe I will be able to drag it out of the way. I was trying to make room for everything here, you guys. Okay, I got it out. That way, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's just a molding sample, okay? Arlene, I don't think it would have, but I moved it just in case. Most of the time, once they spin for a few minutes, if I have dripping, it's normally right after I've heated it with the blowtorch, because that makes it more liquid and it will run. And I know that when I hit the gold one and I hit it with the blowtorch for a couple of seconds there, I saw it drip. But after that, I haven't seen anything drip. Yes, and that's going to give you more control, okay? So if you let the epoxy sit for a couple of minutes, and you know, if you're trying to perfect the technique, you could do some inexpensive molding boards, okay? And you can do one where you can time where, okay, set a timer, let the epoxy sit for 3 minutes, maybe do another one, let the epoxy sit for 5 minutes, do another one. It's just kind of start to see where you're getting the control factor and how far you can go before you have no return. And that's how I learned to push my products and perfect something, is it normally takes multiple samples with timing on the technique. I know that I must have been chatting for a while when I did this one, okay? Meaning that the epoxy had sat on the tumbler for probably 2 to 3 minutes, maybe even longer before I hit it with spray, because this one held its pattern pretty well. And last night, okay, let me go grab the other one so I've got visuals for you. So yesterday and even tonight, when I did the samples, okay, I did not let the epoxy sit for any length of time. Once the epoxy was on there, I pretty much had sprayed it. okay, which meant that epoxy is still going to move. And even though this one's gorgeous, it's totally different because the epoxy moves so much. And I also think I just saturated it with too much alcohol. So there's a lot of variables. There's a lot of looks you can come up with. I don't think I've ever had two look identical. So the way it turns out is just you're going to get what you're going to get. But there is some part to be able to control a little bit. Okay, guys, that is it for tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Like I said, I'm heading out of town tomorrow morning, so you're probably not going to see me for a few days. Say, let's go, A's. Okay, that's who we're rooting for this weekend. Have a wonderful weekend. If there's anything I can help you guys with, tag me in the comments. You're always welcome to email me, and I will still be on my laptop while I'm gone. So have a wonderful weekend, you guys, and thanks always for being here with me. I appreciate it.